Meeting for Tuesday, October 26th to order. First is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join us. I pledge allegiance
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And then tonight's meeting is also conducted in person at City Hall and by video and telephone conference due to the ongoing COVID-19 health pandemic. Next is the approval of the agenda. We have, we'll add to the end a closed session after we get through the business. Is there any other additions or changes?
I would recommend that we remove item D from the consent agenda and put it under new business, as we've done in years past.
Okay.
What was that again? Shirley?
Take item D off of consent and put it under new business.
As we've done in years past.
Then there's their approval?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Johnson, second by Councilmember Doherty. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is council staff reports. I couldn't remember everything, so I'm going to wing it. Went to the ribbon cutting for the Historical Society last week. Can't remember, was it last week or the week before, Mike, that we went for the ribbon cutting for
Week before.
orthopedic?
Yep.
I had a call last week with our lobbyist Ann and Angie regarding the bonding tour, and the dates are kind of narrowed down to November 16th, 17th, or 18th, and more information will be to follow.
Which month was that?
November 16th, 17th, or 18th, and some of the details and setup and all that will be following. And then I did get a phone call, or had a call this morning with Amy Gurley from League of Minnesota Cities, and we were to have our team building today. And she's ill. And she had mentioned November 9th, and Councilmember Doherty can't make it on the 9th. Would the 23rd work for everybody to do that then? Tuesday the 23rd, or even another day if having it before the council meeting doesn't work. I just thought an hour before the council meeting for work session would be good. 23rd, okay?
23rd works for me.
Okay, then I'll get back to her and let her know that. And that's all I have. Councilmember Doherty.
Yeah, let's see, I attended the Planning Commission on the 14th, and their meeting item is on the agenda in their new business, and that's about it.
Thank you. Councilmember Johnson.
I also attended the Washington County Historical Society's ribbon cutting, as well as the Parks Commission meeting last week. And then also, mark your calendar for December. We are doing a city gingerbread decorating competition as a fundraiser for Valley Outreach Food Shelf.
Do you have a date for that?
I believe it's December 11th.
I make terrible ones. Does that count?
I think it's just decorating. I think they have kits for us and everything. Making it easy.
Okay.
We'll put you on a different team, Mayor.
That'd be great. That's why I had children. They do it.
Can we bring an engineer with us?
I can
At
pick
least
the
get the
colors.
base right.
Got a little experience in that regard.
I can do the interiors. The exteriors not so much. Councilmember Liljegren.
I have nothing to report, Mayor.
Councilmember Runk.
I was at the ribbon cutting for the History Center, and other than that, I don't have anything else.
Thank you. Any staff reports? Recycling Ward, Jennifer.
Mayor and Council Joel Flaherty at 5862 Olinda Avenue North was chosen as the most recent recycling award winner, and he has selected a fire extinguisher as his award.
Thank you. Next is visitor public comment section. This is a time for anyone in the audience that would like to talk to the council about anything that's not on the agenda. Of course, Mr. Kramer, please come forward.
Just a little ditty, and I think I brought this up before. Excuse me. This time, when I'm commenting, is said to be a time for the citizen to comment on something that is not on the anything that's not on the agenda. I'm wondering how it is that an individual would be able to have input into any of the agenda items, since the agenda comes out and it's here, and where does an individual have input? So for example, you took D off of the, or moved it to new business. If someone wanted to talk about that, where could they possibly have input?
They can come forward when we get to the new business portion. If
So
you have-
so anybody can speak out on any of the
Anytime.
items at any time?
Right,
Okay. Thank you.
up to 3 minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
You can speak then if you'd like to. Is there anyone else? Okay, then we'll move on to consent agenda, which is approved bills and investments, checks 67431 through check 67483 in the amount of $225,956.47. Approved city council minutes, October 12th, 2021. Approved joint powers agreement between Oak Park Heights and Washington County Law Enforcement Records Management System known as Central Square Software Systems. That's it.
I'll move the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Liljegren, second by Councilmember Johnson. Eric?
Councilmember Doherty.
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Councilmember Liljegren.
Yes.
Councilmember Runk.
Yes.
Mayor McCombie.
Yes, and we have no public hearings for tonight, so we'll move on to old business, which is sidewalk improvements for 58th Street east of Osgood Avenue. Eric?
Well, this was a topic of discussion a couple months ago, and the council asked staff to pull together some thoughts about what it would take to really begin to investigate that sidewalk construction on 58th Street east of Osgood Avenue, essentially linking the new Osgood sidewalk to, for lack of a better word, the Valley View Park area. So Lee was kind enough to put some estimates together, and certainly I would defer to him as to what that includes.
Mayor and members of the council, as Eric said, we did put together a proposal for some preliminary work to take a look at this potential trail connection. We did take the view of starting with just a preliminary kind of mini feasibility study type of approach. We think that the cost of this trail might be more substantial than we originally thought when we first looked at it. So we'd like to do some preliminary work to give you an idea of a relatively good report level cost estimate, so the council will have the information before we get fully into design. And so what we would do with that is all mentioned in the memo, and all of those scope items would be in the amount of $5,100 not to exceed. So we would be able to get that going relatively quickly here. Before the snow flies, we'd want to go out and take a look at it in some detail, if the council wishes to go forward with it.
Thank you. It does look pretty rough. Could use a help.
I always wondered, what was it meant to be when it was originally put in? Because it really isn't just,
It's been there a long time,
I know,
so
but
I don't know.
it's not really a sidewalk.
Yeah.
I know most people
Definitely
walking
narrow.
the street out there.
Yep.
So does anybody have any questions for Lee? Is there a motion to approve having Lee go forward with the preliminary plan?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Johnson, second by Councilmember Runk. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is 2018 comp plan minor revision annexation area for the road extension. Eric?
Well, same as the previous, just a quick introduction. The city has had some dialogue with Washington County about that possible road extension and what your comp plan actually included versus the county's road versus the city annexation possibility, and that much of the land that was discussed in 2017, 2018, in the run-up to your comp plan, basically has been absorbed, or at least half of it has been absorbed into Stillwater area. So fundamentally, our question at the staff level, and we brought it to you folks a couple months ago, was should that be amended to clarify the position and to bring the comp plan up to a cleaner state, so to speak. So with that, Scott, I would absolutely defer to you
Yeah, at one of your previous meetings, you authorized the planning commission to go ahead and advertise a public hearing, which was done. And at their November 14th meeting, they recommended the changes that you will find in the resolution that we had drafted. A couple text changes and a map change. The main thing, I think, is that map reference to a possible 58th Street extension, but also the language that that was cleaned up too, that you see in front of you. So with that, the planning commission, unanimously recommended that those changes be made. So we would recommend you move forward with that. And the next step would then be to we would download it onto the Met Council site with the background information. And from what I've talked to the sector rep about, it would just be an administrative approval. We'd probably hear in the 30 days after it's downloaded.
And it is your resolution in the packet.
It probably wasn't explained clear enough when this was done, that it was if the annexation was to come into our city as opposed to another city.
Yeah,
so.
that's correct.
And even there, all it said was possible.
Right.
It wasn't.
But saying that we, doing this extension, well, if it wasn't in our city, why would we do it?
I'll make a motion that we pass the resolution as presented.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Runk, second by Councilmember Liljegren. Eric?
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Liljegren?
Yes.
Councilmember Runk?
Yes.
Mayor McCumber?
Yes. Next, we have the Norrell Avenue Backage Road approved final layout and authorized bidding. Good question before we go farther on it. Is it going to stay Backage Road, or is it going to be renamed to something like 59th Street or something?
It will be renamed. Yes.
Okay, then go ahead, Lee.
All right. So at the last meeting, we had an update from the project manager on the project, Kevin Hoagland, who went through the final layout for the project. And at this time, we're just asking the city council to approve the plans. That plan approval is necessary to get us into the approving process with MnDOT and ultimately putting together the cooperative agreement. So what we're looking for tonight is just approval of that layout and the plans, and we'll just go from there.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about Lee's report? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Doherty, second by Councilmember Runk. Eric, can you do a roll call on this since it's going to MnDOT?
Sure. Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Liljegren?
Yes.
Councilmember Runk?
Yes.
Mayor McCumber?
Yes. So move on to new business, which is DRF Stillwater Dental LLC, pre and final plat, site plan and design guidelines, review park dental development of 13961 60th Street North. Scott?
Yes, so Ross Hedlund, representing DRF Stillwater Dental LLC, has made this application. The lot currently is 3 lots, 3 PIDs. Our ordinance does not allow us, unfortunately, to do that administratively. It does require a preliminary final plat. And then with the 3 buildings on site, they will take those down and do one building, essentially in the center of the lot. The first phase being a 6,000 square foot building that would be the Park Dental office, and then a second phase of 3,000 square feet that would be a business that would be similar, probably complementary to Park Dental. Could be retail or office use. Property is zone B4 Limited Business District, which allows these type of uses as a permitted use. We do require, again, the design guideline and site plan review because it is a new site. Going through the very few issues with this, the applicants have done a nice job putting together, I would say, a very positive package. There's 2 curb cuts into that property, and off at 60th Street North, they would incorporate it into 1 access point on the east side. Parking is met. They were proposing 66 spaces and 44 are required. In terms of landscaping, lighting, trash storage, mechanical screening, all the engineering issues, really everything is very compliant with our requirements. Planning Commission was complimentary of this, recommended approval of it, and again, cleaning up another one of those older sites with a new modern building, which we all see is very positive. So with that, there's a resolution in your packet providing approval of that. The second phase of the building would not require, they have hadn't complete enough plans that we would not require additional review unless they do make some major changes to that design of that second phase, or some site issues occur because of that. So with that, we're recommending the resolution. Jen from the Planning Commission is here tonight too, if you have any questions.
The one question I had, I did watch the Planning Commission meeting when this came up. Were there any comments from any of the people, the residents in the townhomes behind him? Okay, good. Are there any questions for Scott?
The only,
Council, I might make one recommendation for your resolution, and the engineer has provided a nice detailed memo dated September 30th. That's in your packet. And we might want to add additional condition that just says incorporating all the terms and conditions of the engineer's memo as additional conditions of approval, just to make clear that that's part of the.
You can add that as item number 13 on there then. Just what you said.
Yeah, we could reference that in condition 7. We don't
Into
specifically
7?
call out his memo, but we could add that as part of
Okay.
condition 7.
How about per engineer's memo?
Yes.
And then skip 13. Okay.
okay, the only question I have is, I have an appointment next week, so I know what I'm gonna be asked. When is it gonna start and when is it gonna be done?
Council, I'm Ross Headland with Frowen Shoe. Address is 7101 West 78th Street in Bloomington. Thank you for having us here tonight. To answer your question, we're looking to start as soon as we can in the spring. The targeted opening date would be around December of next year. And their current location will stay open in operation right up until the new location opens. And that's part of why it's a two-phase project, because once they open, then we would tear down their existing building and be ready to build that second phase.
Well, thank you.
Well, I think it's a great improvement. I would make a motion that we pass the resolution with the change on, was item 7? Yeah.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Doherty, second by Councilmember Liljegren. Eric?
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Liljegren?
Yes.
Councilmember Runk?
Yes.
Mayor McCombs?
Yes. Well, congratulations and good luck. Okay, then we have MnDOT request, snow and ice maintenance, South Frontage Road. Eric?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor and Council. The MnDOT has again asked the city to extend its snow, ice maintenance on the South Frontage Road, essentially from about Aldi all the way to Osgood Avenue. If you recall, this was originally taken over by the city as part of an agreement or negotiated agreement when MnDOT did a reclaim of that frontage road before the bridge. I don't know if you remember the massive craters out there that were big. And
Do we still have the signs?
yeah, I think I do have one. So anyway, so that was the kind of how it first started, and then it went on from there, and then the agreement expired in 2017. MnDOT asked, as part of the settlement the city had and its bridge costs, if the city would extend that for 5 more years, which you folks did agree to do that. Well, that is now expired, and they are asking you to extend it for another 10 years. One of the parameters that at least staff has talked with MnDOT about this is they're going to want some kind of local commitment from the city as part of the reroute of the frontage road behind the Carbones as a local cost share piece. So that's certainly part of that discussion. The county's project and the state's project does not ask the city to do anything more than that so far. I don't expect them to. We've made our position fairly clear in those conversations. I guess that progress is going to happen next year. It's kind of been delayed a couple of years, but what have you. We tried to estimate what does this cost the city. $5,000, $7,000 a year in terms of the linear distance. It's 3 lanes wide, takes snow and sand and salt. But of course, you never really know. I would argue your contractor, Raleigh, is probably faster on the scene from a priority standpoint than the state, simply because of the magnitude of roads they're trying to manage. At least, certainly it's at scale, of course. So you try to boil all that down. Is this a good or bad thing for the city? I don't know. Working with Adam over the years has been really good to work with. I don't think he's trying to ask for anything unreasonable. And if it's part of the only commitment the city is tasked to accept as part of that reroute, well, okay, maybe that seems reasonable. I would have liked to have seen 5 years, but I guess 5 years goes by like that, as we all know. So,
Does it mean, what you're saying is that we wouldn't have a cost share next year if we do this, do we not have the cost share on the project next year?
well, it doesn't mean they won't ask.
Or would it be that we can okay it for this year and include it in the negotiations next year?
Well, they're not really asking us to negotiate anything. I think Adam is just making an ask.
Maybe put a stoplight in there so the traffic will move faster. Double left turn lane from Osgood
You know,
would be great.
if the county comes in and says, hey, we want to put a stoplight at that new point of connection south of the Holiday, all of those legs of those roads remain not the city's.
Exactly. But it's real fun trying to pull out there.
Right. But that would be a significant financial commitment to install those, a signalization there. It could be, it'd be $500,000, pick a number.
Double
that-
turn lanes would help. That's just paint.
Well, I'm with you.
A big roundabout would be.
But they're just asking you to plow. And maybe another point, I'm not defending MnDOT, so to speak, but our plows, our trucks, Raleigh's trucks are probably using that route anyway. They're coming back and forth through there, coming down. So
And they do a good job.
they do a good job. If that road's not plowed, we'll get the calls.
And we do.
More
Or
so.
the chief has to go out there and make sure that the people don't slide down the hill.
So if this is okay with you, if this is okay with you guys, then what they're asking for is approval of the enclosed resolution, and which includes an ability for staff and the mayor to sign the agreement. We might have some tweaks, but fundamentally, that's it.
Okay. Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Liljegren, second by Councilmember Johnson. Eric?
Councilmember Doherty,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson.
I was just gonna say.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I appreciate, as a walker that walks all year long, I appreciate the snow being gone. I don't know what cost the city incurs and how that all works out with the state, but I appreciate that you guys are on the snow across 36, because I walk over 36, so.
Okay.
I just see it as maybe us taking care of a liability before it could happen. I don't know how that all works, but.
It does. We do have, we promote our trails, for advertising and everything. So thank you for that comment.
I'm sorry, I didn't see her get up.
Why don't you start that over again? I'm
I
sorry.
apologize. Sorry,
Sorry, I
Jennifer.
didn't see you, Jennifer.
Councilmember Doherty,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Liljegren,
Yes.
Councilmember Runk,
Yes.
Mayor McCumber.
Yes. Next is consider installation of stop signs at Peller Avenue and 57th Street. I got a call from some neighbors in my neighborhood about issues that there's no stop sign at that intersection and people are flying through it. And it is the only intersection in the neighborhood that does not have stops. Obviously, there's a lot more kids, smaller children in the neighborhood right now, and it is causing a problem. Some people think if there's no stop sign, they can just go through the intersection pretty quickly. And then the second request, and it's not on here, was we see them all in different neighborhoods, children at play, for people to slow down or however they're worded. And I know the chief was going to take a look at the intersection and give some thoughts on that as well. I don't know if you had any. I don't know if there, Eric had asked me if there was a stop sign there before the street reconstruction was done in that neighborhood, and I couldn't remember 100%, but it seemed to me there was one stop sign on just one corner, but it was just one as opposed to a four-way. And that intersection doesn't need a four-way, it probably only needs a three.
So I've drove through there a couple times, not the past week, and looked at, yes, there is different, got a mix down there, nothing, two-way stop sign, and then on 58, running that as four-way. So if you're getting the complaints, I suggest to make it a four-way all the way around, consistent with the neighborhood down there.
The only reason I said three-way because that one leg only goes to two driveways, you know, so it's not a through straight.
Right. It does help us for enforcement, as far as we want that component to be beneficial. We've got no crash statistics in the past 5 years there, where we had any traffic complaints other than there was a neighbor dispute a year ago. So we don't have any of that, but if you're getting the complaints, then it's more of the neighborhood prefer to have that set up there. Those aren't very large blocks, so I'm not worried about them going to a stop and accelerating to the next stop sign. That's always the worry or the concern is all you're creating is acceleration to the next stop. So they're small enough blocks that, and that could help us for enforcement if it is a problem. That area appeared to be probably more resident locals rather than people that are passing through just because of the layout, I would suspect.
There's still, you know, pass-through traffic, whether it's a FedEx truck, a UPS truck, whatever, you know, and they sometimes will take the corner a little fast.
But there's also a lot of, that's part of the trail system, that road too, so that's a lot of walkers.
Yeah, because you come right off of the bridge, you know, over Peril Creek right there.
So I guess my suggestion would be put 4 stop signs up.
Okay.
Get that intersection look more consistent with the rest of the intersection, so people aren't confused. That may help.
And you've probably seen how many children are down there now. There's about 30 kids that are under age 10 that are running around, so. And on bikes and scooters, I think putting up a, children at play sign, whether it's on Peller or one on 57th. I think there's one on 56 as you come up the hill off of Stagecoach, but.
Proximity of Clover Park right there, not a bad idea.
Just talk to Andy about that.
Yeah. But just to make sure that it's in, if we make a motion, go ahead with the stop signs, that the children at play signs are part of the motion as well. So is there a motion to approve?
So moved with adding the children at play signs.
No, is it four-way stop? Is that what we're going
The
with?
four-way
Yes.
stop.
Okay,
Was that a second, Mike?
yeah, sure.
Motion by Councilmember Doherty, second by Councilmember Runk. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and then we moved item D down to new business, which is consider proclamation recognizing January 23rd to 29th, 2022 as School Choice Week. I get sent this request every year, and we've had it on our agenda before, and council was not in favor, but I did not want to make the assumption that there is no one in favor for this before I answer it. So that's why it was on the agenda. When I put it on, I told Eric, put it on consent agenda. If somebody has an issue, they can always pull it off. So thank you.
I just pulled it off as we've done in years past to have that discussion since we have not passed it in the past. So just bring that discussion back up.
And Mike, I think you were the one that had issues with it in the past.
Yeah, I have. This is a political group. I mean, it actually is named. It's named the School Choice Week. That's the name of the group, and they have very definite ideas, and I just don't think it's something we need to dive into.
Anybody else have any comments? Mr. Kramer, please come forward.
How can one be opposed to school choice? I mean, they're a political group, yes. Well, interestingly, when the superintendent of schools came here and talked about the taxes, she was free to talk, and again, that certainly was a political argument. All you're saying with this resolution is you're declaring it, you're recognizing that this is school choice week. I don't think you're saying, oh, we are in favor of school choice, or that you're opposed to it. You're just saying that you recognize that that is this week, and it is something to recognize. You do it with many, many things, which are far more political than this is.
I try not to bring in political items. I know a few years ago, we had the issue of come up of $15 an hour minimum wage. And I know that Commissioner Doherty was against it, and I said, outside of here, I maybe would have had a different opinion, but I didn't feel that it was an issue that the city should become involved in.
Again, in that instance, what you're asking, you were asked to take a stand saying you were for a $15 minimum wage.
In this case, I believe that's what they're asking us for.
For what?
They're asking us to take a stand
On?
to back their group
On what?
on school choice.
So that, saying that you're in favor of,
They have very specific language that they follow. and
so
I
you- so
feel
what
this
you're
is-
saying is you would like the council to say they're not for school choice.
I would like the council to stay out of it,
Again,
to not take a
I
stand.
think you're comparing apples to oranges, and this is not what
I
this is.
don't, this
Yeah.
is a political group that's trying to get as many councils on record as they can, that, to imply that we agree with them. That's why they named the group what they did.
So
I mean, this is not an ad hoc. group.
So if there was a group for school achievement, and they asked you to declare School Achievement Week, that's something you'd be opposed to.
What I'm saying is I'd have to look at the group, and this group, the people that back it, and the legislation that they're pushing. There are many people in this city who disagree with it, and I think that it's not an issue that the city of Oak Park Heights City Council needs to be involved in.
I shan't be able to convince you, I can tell. Thank you.
Thanks. And I guess I look at it differently because I have looked at their website, and we do have a lot of people in our city who do make send their children to the public school. It's a choice. And what the last paragraph is, do hereby recognize the week as School Choice Week and calling it observance. It's just asking for an observance of school choice, that people have a choice.
I personally attended a parochial school. My children attended a parochial school.
I attended 12 years of parochial schools, too.
I made that choice. I just don't think from a city council point of view, we need to get involved in this.
So is there a motion to approve? Motion fails, so I'll just send them a note back that the council was not interested in supporting it this year. Next, we have closed session. Kevin?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, this is an issue that we've discussed in prior meetings. We're going into closed session under Minnesota statutes 13D.05, the open meeting law, for a closed session to discuss a pending litigation matter with the city against Paul Sins. It's in relation to trees that were cut down on the road right-of-way of Lookout Trail back in the spring. And so we're going to go into closed session pursuant to the attorney-client privilege to discuss the status of that matter.
Should we adjourn after the closed session or before?
I think we can probably just adjourn, make an announcement that we will adjourn at the end of the closed session and not come back to open session. I don't think there's going to necessarily be any action items to take at an open session that can't be done at the next meeting.
So we'll is there a motion to move into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, thanks very much, everyone.